That was a sobering voice. Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for being here at Expletive Not Deleted, an uncensored celebration. I'm so excited for this event. We only called the people on this call the America's best voice actors because they are. And so this is going to be great. I've been looking forward to this so much. Super excited to have all of you here tonight. And I also want to thank our amazing, crazy, talented host committee for putting this all together, including David X. Cohen, Marjorie David, Elias Davis, Don Foster, and Patrick M. Verone. They organized this incredible event. Thank you so much. Before we get started, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. At the bottom of your Zoom screen is a chat button. It's that word balloon. And please click on that to open up your chat window where we'll be posting links throughout the event. And you can always comment and ask questions. We will have a Q&A at the end. So please put in, during the whole event, put in any questions you have for that. Preface it with the word ask in capital letters so we can easily see that it's a question. For anyone new to Zoom, it is a good idea to choose speaker view and make your Zoom full screen. So if you go to the upper right in my Zoom window, there's a little in small letters, it says view. If you click on that, it gives you speaker as an option. And if you click on the green button in one of the top corners of your window, left if it's a Mac, right if it's a PC, it should go full screen. So before we start, I just want to say that the work of Field Team 6 never stops. I'm Jason Berlin. I don't remember if I said that in the beginning, so just as a review in case I did, that's who I am. With Field Team 6, our mission is Registered Democrats Save the World. And that's what we have been hard at work doing and continue to do it because our democracy depends on it. Right now, we're working on expanding our Democratic base across the country so that we can have maximum impact in 2022. And, in order to save the Senate, save the House, and win down ballot in the midterms, the number one most direct, effective way to do that is registering Democrats in swing states. Last year, you might remember it, Field Team 6 did some amazing things in our 11 swing states. We reached out to over 15 million unregistered likely Democrats, including women, college students, Latinx and Black communities, marriage equality supporters, purged voters, even Trump defectors. Those were some fun calls. We sent 14.6 million texts, sent 6.4 million emails, made 144,000 phone calls, all to the same guy. No, different people. Those are social media ads that generated almost 12 million impressions and managed to deploy over 10,000 volunteers to 39,000 shifts. What happened ultimately was we helped register almost 3 million new swing state Democrats to vote. Yes. And just yesterday, we had our first in-person voter drive since COVID in Orange County. I got some hot voter registrations in my hand right now from that. And we're going to be getting out in the field as COVID allows in all our swing states over the next month to whenever, as soon as possible. And we're ramping up to do that. So you are the fuel that keeps us going. Your volunteer hours and donor dollars are what make us run. And I'd be incredibly grateful if you'd consider making an investment in our work tonight. Our events team will drop our donation link in the chat box. And thank you so much to our events team also for being, putting together all the nuts and bolts that make this work. All right, now on to the good stuff. We're super honored and proud of the amazing guests we have here tonight. We don't deserve you. So to kick us off, I want to introduce you to one of our super generous and talented Field Team 6 champions, David X. Cohen. David has worked on some of the most amazing and successful shows, including Beavis and Butthead and The Simpsons. He co-developed Futurama along with Simpson creator Matt Groening. and served as its head writer and executive producer. Please help me welcome David.
Yay!
With the audience muted, we have to create our own cheers. Woo!
That's right.
Yeah.
Good.
They're going crazy.
Well, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Field Team 6, for letting us help out as well. It's critical. And thank you, everybody who showed up today. It really means a lot. So do you remember when you were about 3 years old and one of your parents came into the room and they said, who are you talking to? And you said, I'm talking to the little people in the TV. Well, it came true. You were correct. Here we are. And before I introduce our all-star cast, I'm going to give you a 1-minute backstory of what this show is. So this all goes back to the very beginning of Futurama, when I was directing our cast in the studio. And very naively at that time, I thought I might see them warming up, perhaps like professionals, maybe rehearsing their lines or practicing the voices they had to do. But no, never that. Instead, what they would do is entertain each other and themselves, mainly themselves, by doing these amazing celebrity outtakes, and mainly of the most foul-mouthed celebrities available.
This is Barry White and Paul Quentin College. Cordially invite you. Man, they cordially invite you to bring your ass on down here.
There you go. So I would see this every week and it'd go like, wow, this is the real show. America needs to see this show. So I got right on it, bang. Just 20 years later, here we are. The show has come to life. So welcome to the show. That's the story. I will now introduce our cast in order of how talented they are.
Yep.
No, all right, alphabetical order. Alphabetical order, first up, the voice of Jake on Adventure Time, King Zog on Disenchantment, and of course, Futurama's beer-powered bending robot Bender. It is beer-powered human John DiMaggio.
Yay! Hooray! Yay!
Next up, the winner of 2 Primetime Emmys for voicing Futurama characters, including Calculon Kiff and Hedonism Bot. He also starred as the Brain in Pinky and the Brain, and he performed Will Ferrell's 1-minute-long belch in the movie Elf, which you might be able to get him to do in the Q&A tonight. Welcome, Maurice LaMarche. There he is, Maurice LaMarche.
Oh, hello.
Quiet down, Maurice. We're done welcoming you. All right. Next up, squeaking in alphabetically just after LaMarche in a photo finish, it's the voice of Samurai Jack and Green Lantern. He's also appeared on screen in Pulp Fiction, Mad TV, and Veep. And you may know him as Futurama's limboing accountant Hermes Conrad. It's the great Phil Lamar.
Hey!
Yeah.
Hello, little people. I'm so happy
Phil.
you've come out of your holes.
All right. Next, we have from King of the Hill, the Joy Luck Club, Andy Mack, Friends, and of course, the voice of Futurama's lovable Amy, our only cast member who can curse in multiple languages, Lauren Tom.
Yay!
Oh, my smizmo.
Lauren's being censored automatically on the Chinese feed right now for the first few syllables.
Doesn't know. Faccia gui, doesn't know.
Hey, you're next, Billy. Here we
yeah.
go. Finally, the man of infinity voices. He stars as Futurama's Philip J. Fry, but also Professor Farnsworth, Dr. Zoidberg, Zap Brannigan, and Richard Nixon's head. He was a regular on the Howard Stern Show. He played Ren and Stimpy in Ren and Stimpy. He played Bugs Bunny and Elmer Fudd in Space Jam. And of course, he's the beloved Red M&M. You get the idea. Welcome, the legendary Billy West.
Hi.
Woo, Billy.
Hello, you conceited, dissolute vagrants.
That is our fabulous cast. And since Billy is the voice of Richard Nixon's head, let's get right into it with one of the all-time great presidential recordings. This first one we're going to do is a discussion of the TV series All in the Family that took place in the Oval Office on May 13th, 1971. And as it turns out, you may have heard about this, Nixon had a few tape recorders lying around the Oval Office. So luckily this was preserved for posterity. And Billy, actually, before we start, maybe you can tell the audience a little bit about how you came up with your, I would say, your unique take on Richard Nixon.
We're talking black and white TV back in 1962, and my mother and me were watching the debate between John F. Kennedy and Richard M. Nixon. And John F. Kennedy looked like a game show host. He was so beautiful looking on TV. He had that ultra bright smile and that buttered toast hair, and and then Kennedy's people instructed the camera people to do extreme close-ups on Nixon, which made him look like a total sweat hog. I mean, you could see his hairs growing in. His 5 o'clock shadow was coming in at 2 o'clock, and he was sweaty, and his hair was matted, and he just looked like a mess. So while he was talking, he said, I want to be president for numerous reasons, but one of them is I said, Mom, he's going to turn into a werewolf. I said, I swear to God, I want to be president of what?
All right, so that's how Futurama ended up with werewolf Nixon's head in a jar as
Nobody ever heard
president in the future.
So far.
All right, so again, just to clarify, everything we're going to hear in this show tonight, with very few exceptions, has been trimmed for time, but is otherwise really verbatim. We're not making this stuff up. You can't write this stuff, which is what you always want to hear when you're a writer, because it saves a lot of time. Just got it down. So, but by the same token, please do not blame me. Do not blame the cast members for anything you're going to hear. We didn't write it. They didn't say it. We're just retransmitting it to you here tonight. So for this first
don't
one,
get offended.
No offense to be taken. So
It was a different time.
So here's our All in the Family conversation featuring Billy West as Richard Nixon, John DiMaggio as Chief of Staff H.R. Haldeman, and Phil Lamar as Assistant for Domestic Affairs John Ehrlichman. Here we go.
CBS, glorifying homosexuality.
A panel show?
Hell no, it's a movie.
No, it's a regular show. It's on every week.
What's it called?
Well, Arch is the guy's name, but you can't imagine. Arch is sitting there in his sloppy clothes. And here's his hippie son-in-law who's married to the screwball-looking daughter. The son-in-law apparently goes both ways. This guy comes in, he's obviously queer, wears an ascot, but not offensively so. Very clever, uses nice language. So then Arch goes down to the local bar. And Arch's best friend turns out to be a guy who used to play professional football. God, he's handsome, virile, strong, this and that. And then the fairy comes into the bar. I turn the goddamn thing off.
That's real family entertainment, isn't it?
Yeah, but the point is, I don't mind the homosexuality. I understand it. Nevertheless, goddamn, I do not think that you glorify on public television homosexuality any more than you glorify whores. But we all know we have weaknesses. But goddamn it, what do you think that does to the kids?
Yeah.
By God, I can tell you it outraged me. Not for any moral reason. Most people are outraged for moral reasons. It outraged me because I don't want to see this country go that way. You know what happened to the Greeks? Homosexuality destroyed them. Sure, Aristotle was a homo. We all know that. So was Socrates.
But he never had the influence that television had.
You know what happened to the Romans? The last 6 Roman emperors were fags. You know what happened to the popes? They were laying the nuns. That's been going on for years, centuries. But the Catholic Church went to hell 3 or 4 centuries ago. It was homosexual and it had to be cleaned out. That's what happened to Britain. It happened earlier to France.
San Francisco has just gone clear over.
But that's not just the ratty part of town. The upper class in San Francisco is that way. The Bohemian Grove, which I attend from time to time, is the most faggy goddamn thing you could ever imagine. I didn't want to shake hands with anybody from San Francisco.
Well, it's a different set of values.
Also, some parts of Southern California.
Yeah, that's right.
Hollywood, Pasadena.
And the whole decorator and sportswear manufacturer set.
Decorators. Well, they've got to do something. But goddamn it, we don't have to glorify it. You know, one of the reasons fashions have made women look so terrible is because the goddamn designers hate women. Now, that's the truth. And women wouldn't buy it. And now they're trying to get some more sexy things coming on again.
Hot pants.
Jesus Christ.
Billy West as Richard Nixon. Woo. Thank you. I'm the whole audience. I'm cheering for 2000 here.
Oh.
All right, thank you.
Oh my God.
All right, now, obviously the list of patriotic Americans would have to start with Richard Nixon, but also somewhere near the very top would have to be John Wayne. So next we're going to hear John Wayne delivering some patriotic remarks to the ROTC at UCLA in 1968. And I can't be sure, but I'm guessing he may have had a drink in one hand or possibly several drinks in both hands while he was delivering these remarks. So this will be Maurice LaMarche as John Wayne and everyone else just chiming in as the ROTC. Here we go.
My name is William Wayne. Listen, I want to add anything that I can add to what he said about the fact that you guys are just on the American side. I mean, geez, I don't know how you know, it's so terrible that you don't know how to. There's no way to be a leader in Americana except you guys. You got to control it. We haven't any chance. You can actually see things happen like at the Columbia University and the other mother colleges. No, really, it's you know, when I went to school, I went to school at the University of Southern California. Let me explain something to you. When I went there when there's a fella in control of the college. I mean, he was the boss man there, and if anybody had walked into his office and torn down a picture and did excrement in his in his waste paper baskets, or written lewd words on the pictures of his family, we as members of the college would have kicked the damn hell out of this organization. I can't understand how it can happen in the United States of America that this can happen. I mean, and there aren't enough guys of your age to go up. I don't give a shit if you go to the school or not. You can't stand to have this happen. Oh Christ! Yeah. I'm not trying to talk for clapping. I'm just trying to talk for you guys. You got to start thinking. It's getting to be goddamn ridiculous. If you guys don't start thinking this, man, we're gonna have a lousy country. Jesus, I've had the chance to be with guys who are with things and against things, and you know, Christ, you try as I try as a human being to listen to both sides of everything, but there's no both sides anymore. They're just trying to wreck our goddamn country. It's time for you younger guys to take over. I don't know what the hell to do.
Maurice LaMarche.
And thus the Proud Boys were born.
Oh my God.
Maurice has memorized every little mini drunk burp.
In the original outtake tape, you can hear literally the ice tinkling in his glass. Kid you not. If you listen to the original tape, it's there.
He's so shit-faced.
Yep.
He's so it's beautiful. It's well played.
He wasn't even a bardic boozer.
I mean,
all right. God. Well, speaking of beautiful things, if you think things were bad back in the Nixon era, you should have seen the year 2020. And you did see it. And now you're going to see it again. So I apologize for that. But since we are here for the right to vote, support the right to vote, this is especially appropriate what we're about to do. What we're going to do now is the Michigan election fraud hearing, featuring star witness Melissa Carone and attorney Rudy Giuliani. And this took place, as you may remember, just a few months ago, December 2nd, 2020. We're going to have Lauren Tom as Melissa Carone, John as Rudy Giuliani, Maurice as Michigan House Oversight Chair Matt Hall, and Phil as State Representative Steve Johnson. And again, this is very condensed because it's really about an hour long, but otherwise verbatim. So here we go.
Now I understand we have next, is Miss Carbone?
Carone.
Carone, all right. When you're ready, proceed.
Melissa, tell us what happened when you were working for Dominion. What did you observe?
I observed numerous employees counting ballots 9 to 10 times.
How many times did you observe that?
Thousands of times. I knew what was going on at that point.
What was going on?
They were all in on it.
In on what?
They were cheating. It was very, very apparent. I'm under oath. I wrote an affidavit, which Biden never had done.
Please continue.
I have 19 things in my affidavit. I don't know any woman in the world that would write an affidavit just to write it. You can go to prison for this. So what I saw was over 20 counts of fraud in front of my face. And this isn't counting the ballots that are found in rivers, the ballots found under rocks, the ballots that... I called the FBI on November 8th, but the phone mysteriously cut out and they never called back.
All right. So how many ballots would you estimate were counted multiple times?
At least 30,000.
So why is it that we are not having more people come forward?
I'll tell you why. My life has been completely destroyed because of this. I have been threatened. My kids have been threatened. I can't even get an actual job anymore. Can't, because Democrats like to ruin your lives. That's why.
All right.
Yeah, just like they do to Trump. The poll book is completely off.
Off by 30,000?
I'd say that poll book is off by over 100,000. How many registered voters are on there? Do you even know the answer to that?
Well,
zero. There's zero. And what about the turnout rate? 120%.
So they essentially were filling in names of people who didn't vote?
Mm-hmm. Dead people too.
We're not seeing the poll book off by 30,000 votes. That's not the case.
What did you guys do? Take it and do something crazy to it?
I'm just saying the numbers are not off by 30,000 votes.
It is wildly off, and dead people voted and illegals voted. So that's my answer.
I think we're good here. We're going to move on. Thank you.
For the record, I met her for the first time today. Hey, Giuliani, bite my shiny metal ass.
And by the way, this marks the end of the verbatim part of the scene, but it's still continuing.
Order, I say, is that Bender, the well-known robot from the future?
Yes, again, meatbag. I'm Bender. Bender's legally distinct cousin. The Planet Express crew and I have traveled back in time from the year 3020 to stop this slanderous testimony against the poor, innocent Dominion Voting Machine Corporation. Objection, Your Honor. This is highly unusual, both in legal context and just in terms of making it absolutely no sense whatsoever.
I'm not going to allow it. Time travelers, please identify yourselves for the record.
Hello, you. I'm Dr. Zoidberg's cousin, Dr. Goldfarb. Was that legally distinct enough?
No, but who cares? Hi, I'm Amy Wong. That's Amy spelled with like 2 Y's or whatever.
Zep Brannigan here, also with 2 Y's. 2 Y chromosomes, that is. Hence my double dose of machismo.
Oh.
Hey, what up, everyone? I'm Philip J. Fry, F-R-Y-Y.
Anyone else think the Y key on David X. Cohen's computer just has some kind of gunk on it?
I happen to, he's a chazer.
Man, I got frozen only 20 years ago, in the year 2000. Yet somehow this country went completely to shit.
Yeah, thanks, Obama.
Whoa. Let's not blame this on me. I happen to think I was a darn good president. No insurrections on my watch. Except when Michelle hid my cigarettes. You better believe I stormed the refrigerator that day.
Yeah, take it easy on the dad jokes, Obama.
I'm sorry. But I'm not just Obama. I'm also Jamaican bureaucrat Hermes Conrad. That's Conrad with 3 umlauts. I'm from one of the more German parts of Jamaica.
Good news, everyone. Professor Hubert Farnsworth at your service. And rest assured, professor is spelled using not one of the original letters.
But why have you all traveled across the lonesome byways of 9-dimensional space-time to be here today?
I don't know about these other losers, but I came back in time to terminate Rudy Giuliani before he destroys the future. Sorry, what? Are you saying I'm actually going to destroy the future? I mean, that's always been the goal, but I mean...
Oh, what is that brown gloop dribbling down Giuliani's face?
Sweet flightless kiwi of Washington, D.C. He's leaking brown fluid from his forehead.
Oh, jeez. I gotta stop dyeing my hair with those little takeout packets of soy sauce.
Good heavens, that's not soy sauce. It's motor oil. Giuliani has been replaced with some sort of biomechanical robot, and he's leaking oil from his old, worn-out brain gears.
Giuliani's a robot? Well, in that case, my mission has changed. We gotta save him. Fry, hand me that pneumatic wrench so I can tighten his head.
Here you go.
What is it? What is it?
Tater!
Work that wrench, robot.
Is Giuliani okay? Did I save him?
Looks kind of limp.
Well, at least his head's on nice and tight now.
Whoopsie, wait a second. I was wrong. It was soy sauce. He's a human after all. Well, I'm sure he's fine.
I say order in the coop. Bender, pray explain why you felt it was so important to defend the Dominion Voting Machine Corporation.
Well, it's like this. Turns out there really was a bunch of secret software embedded in those voting machines. And in the year 2027, it became self-aware.
Yes, but in a way that is legally distinct from the movie Terminator.
That's right, Hermes. I meant to say that. Anyway, those corrupt voting machines gradually evolved into the most evil, most criminal machine ever to walk the earth. And it came to be known by the name of Bender. Yep, that's me. Yeah, I got tired of being a voting machine and became a bending robot. The end.
Now, hold on a cotton-picking femtosecond. I thought you said your name was Bender. I'm beginning to suspect this whole shenanigan is some sort of quasi-legal copyright workaround.
He's on to us! Everybody, run!
Uh-oh.
Well, I'll say this much. Bender's testimony about time-traveling robo-men still made more sense than the actual testimony in this case. Case dismissed.
Hey,
Hey, man, we got the band back together, man. Hey, man.
that was the real genuine cast of a show very similar to, yet legally completely distinct from Futurama.
Yeah.
Still a joy to behold. All right. And by the way, I want to say one thing. Sometimes when there's not a pandemic happening, we actually do a live version of this show, very similar to the show you're seeing now, called Outtake Rama. And when we do those shows, the proportions are kind of reversed. It's mostly celebrity rants with a few political things here and there. But tonight we're going to do the opposite, mostly political stuff, but we're still going to do a couple of celebrities sprinkled in there for you. So here's the first of those. This is a classic from William Shatner that many of you may have heard. This one is when he was recording lines for a video game called Star Trek Judgment Rights in 1993. And Maurice, actually, maybe before we do this, perhaps you and Billy could talk a little bit about how some of these tapes originally surfaced from the studio and came to public view.
Well, I was recording, I believe I was recording promos at that time for a KCOP show, and I was in a particular studio in Hollywood that isn't there anymore. But I became very friendly with engineers. Engineers came to know that I collected outtake tapes in those days. It was actually on tape. There was no YouTube to circulate them. And he called me in, the engineer, and he said, "I just had Shatner in here yesterday. Now you can't spread this around, but this is for you." He said, "This was him. He was in fine form yesterday. We were recording a video game." So he gave me this tape, and of course I popped it in the car as soon as I and started memorizing it. Billy comes to town, and whenever Billy would come to town from New York, from doing the Stern Show, he'd come to town to do Ren and Stimpy, and we'd always have breakfast at a place called Hugo's. And Billy, you told me about a Jack Palance tape, right?
I brought it for you to hear, and the engineer made me swear to God I would never give it to anybody. So you know me.
Well, I had already dubbed off mine, and several times, and I lost it. So I thought, all right,
do you remember I gave you a tape of Tracy Ullman outtake?
Yeah.
She was talking about Roy Scheider, and she went, "He looks like a fucking eel."
The thing with we exchanged. I wanted the Palance really badly. Billy wanted the Shatner one. I said, "Okay, all right, pinky swear, we're never going to share these, right? These are just for our own libraries, right?"
That's right, pal.
Right. And so a week later, I'm driving in my car, and all of a sudden, I'm hearing Stern playing my Shatner tape, and dissecting, like, "What do you think, Robert? What do you think he was thinking at this moment when he said this?" And a couple of weeks later, Shatner comes on the show. I mean, you guys literally taunted Shatner into coming on the show to explain.
Right.
This.
That was the game.
And the beauty of it is that Shatner came in. He had so much fun with them and showed that he could take a joke that he really, after that, I don't know if it's coincidence or not, he had something of a career resurgence. So really, I think Bill Shatner owes the second half of his career to Billy West and me, circa 1999.
So does George Takei.
Oh my, might be right. So
Billy, are you the one who first said "oh my" on Howard
Yeah, he
Stern?
came in, and then the next day I came in and I went, "I own a bank." Oh my. And then the next thing you know, they kept playing the clips and everything. And then he came in, and next thing you know, he's a hero.
Yep.
All right. Anyway, we're derailing here, but
all came from
Maurice.
outtake recording.
Yes.
So this is William Shatner being directed, which he hated to have happen to him, doing just one little scene from Star Trek Judgment Rights. Bill, back up to line 198 and 199. Why don't you do those again and have fun with them? You're in the void now, and it's starting to affect you, and you're hail fellow well met. Please, don't tell me how to do it. It's sip and spade. Just sabotage the system. Spock, restore the atmosphere. Spock, sabotage the system. I wish I knew what to do. Observations, Mr. Spock. Bill, could you, that line sabotage, could you pronounce that sabotage? That line sabotage, could you pronounce it sabotage? I don't say sabotage. You say sabotage. I say sabotage.
Maurice LaMarche as William Shatner.
And I don't disagree with him, by the way. If you're hiring William Shatner, you don't want him to do anything but be William Shatner. Right. Do things the way William Shatner does it. Anyway. There you go.
He was born double down.
That's the famous Shatner outtake that a lot of people have heard. There is another one, which is a little bit longer, which many people have not heard, and it's I'm sad to say it's actually much more painful. So of course we have to give you that one as well.
Yeah.
So this is another actual one. Does anybody know what they were recording in this one? I actually don't know.
I've never been able to find out. It was for it was an industrial, which means that it was for only in-house. And Shatner was recording, a voieover of whatever this, was for the annual sales meeting. Every company has the annual sales meeting, and you'd be amazed at how often they hire celebrities to record these things for a significant amount of money, and they never see the light of day. But this one was passed on.
Let's do it. This will be Maurice once again as William Shatner, and this time Billy West as the world's most unfortunate director who got stuck with this job. Here we go.
This is William Shatner, and I'd like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay?
Can there be a little more excitement in the beginning?
I love it. Okay, all right.
I mean, you sounded like really super laid back.
Well, I'm saying, okay, all right. I'll try and do that. Let's do take two. This is William Shatner, and I'd like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Speak up. And maybe you'd better do it. Do it the way you hear it. Do it for me. And no, I mean, just go ahead.
Okay. Okay. This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very closely. You'll be amazed at what you hear.
All right. This is William Shatner, and I would like to invite you to take a journey with me into the 21st century. So take the next few minutes and listen very carefully. You'll be amazed at what you hear. Okay, so I think that came pretty close.
I'm sorry. Are you making fun of me?
No. I'm doing.
Is this testing or something?
No. I believe you asked. That was about the way you did it. And no, I wasn't testing or jesting.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, and I don't know.
No. I insist. Now, what I want you to do is, was that satisfactory to you?
I don't know. Maybe I just should have. I should have kept my mouth shut.
No, because if your mouth were open, you'd have popped some pills in it. So do the next paragraph for me, so I can get an idea of how you want it. All right. This is page 2.
Oh, I don't know. I really don't want to, because I think that you actually have you have a much better feel for it.
No, I don't think so. I would like to hear you read the second paragraph so I can do it that way. So let me hear.
I really, now that I looked at the different things you did, I really like the first one much better.
No, I really liked it better the way you did it. So I insist that you show me how to do page 2.
Oh, geez.
Really, I mean it. Please read so that I can get an idea of what you want. I'm going to do it the way you think it should go.
Well, I don't.
I'm going to do it the way you're reading it, okay? So I know you're here to see that I do it the way the company wants it. So I'm going to do it the way you read it.
Well, I don't want you to.
But you're telling me how you want me to do it.
Well, I'm sorry that I.
No. I'm going to do it your way.
But there's
no apology necessary. You know what you want. You know what you want.
No, I don't. I mean,
Wait. You come in here and you don't know what you want?
Well, I came in here because I know you're a professional, and I mean, and I know you know how to do it, and I'm sorry I even said anything.
No. I'm going to do it the way you want every paragraph, and you'll send it back to town, and you'll see whether, I hope it'll be pleasing to everyone else. As long as I'm pleasing you, that's all that matters.
Mr. Shatner, would you please? I don't feel right about doing it that way, really.
Well, no, you felt that you wanted something done in the first paragraph. I'm trying to do what you want. All right, let's lay down the second paragraph.
So
Rudy
painful.
Lamarche, Billy West.
So painful.
Oh man.
Just brutal.
I felt so sorry for you. I wanted to stop being William Shatner.
It's just
Hug
brutal.
you.
It's just brutal.
It is the
great,
10th
man.
circle of hell.
Yeah.
I kept thinking about how I'd lose every job I ever applied for in the future after this.
And by the way, let me give you one personal follow-up to that story, which is that, and this is, by the way, one of the absolute best days of work at Futurama ever, but we had both Shatner and Leonard Nimoy in the studio at the same time to do guest parts. So I had to direct Shatner, but luckily, very luckily, thanks to Maurice and Billy, I was familiar with these secret studio tapes. So Shatner did his lines, however he wanted to do them. And I said, cut. That was perfect, Mr. Shatner. Absolutely perfect. So I saved myself a lot of heartache. And it's all thanks to Billy and Maurice. So thank you for the warning. Anyway, all right, back to politics. Let us return now to the year 1964, August 9th, when President Lyndon Johnson placed a call to Joe Hager of the Hager Pants Company.
Lyndon.
And again, let me say this is only trimmed slightly, but the dialogue and the bodily noises are quite real. None of that added to the conversation. This will be John DiMaggio as Lyndon Johnson and Maurice LaMarche as Joe Hager.
Mr. Hager?
Yeah, this is Joe Hager.
Joe, is your father the one that makes your clothes?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're all together.
See, you made me some real lightweight slacks 3 or 4 months ago. I mean, there's a light brown and a light green, rather soft green, a soft brown.
Yes, sir.
I want a couple, maybe 3 of the light brown, kind of almost a powder color, like a powder on a lady's face. And then if you had a blue in that or a black, then I'd have 1 blue and 1 black. I need about 6 pairs to wear around in the evening when I come in from work.
Yes, sir.
They're about a half inch too tight in the waist.
Well, do you recall, sir, the exact size? I want to make them sure that we get them just right for you.
Well, I could send you a pair. See, I want them a half inch larger in the waist than they were before, except I want 2 or 3 inches of stuff left back in there so I can take them up. I vary about 10 or 15 pounds a month.
All right, sir.
So leave me at least 2.5, 3 inches in the back where I can let them out or take them up, and make these a half inch bigger than the waist there, and then make the pockets at least 1 inch longer. I mean, my money, my knife, everything falls out.
Yes, sir.
And another thing, the crotch down there where your nuts hang it's just a little too tight there. So when you make them up, give me 1 inch that I can let out there because they cut me. It's just like riding a wire fence right there. It's just, these are almost these are the best I've had anywhere in these United States.
Well, fine.
But when I gain a little white, they cut me under there. You never do have much of a margin there. So if you can't leave me 1 inch from where the zipper ends round under where the zipper ends round under back to my bunghole, so I could let it out there if I need to. See.
Oh, that's fine, sir. Now, where would you like them sent, please?
The White House.
Oh, fine.
Donnie D. LBJ.
Round to the bunghole there. Put it around to the bunghole.
Round to the bunghole.
He said, let me read it. Let me read it again. See if you can't leave me 1 inch from where the zipper, long burp, ends round under back to my bunghole, so I can let it out there if I need to. That's wow. I mean, he's talking taint, man. LBJ is talking serious taint action about his fucking slacks, right, man. Wow.
Well, and the fact that he's been looking at the seams to see if he could let out,
But listen, I guess it's because I just watched Halston. I mean, the guy's like making his own pants. He really knows how much to let out and let back in. Like wow.
I hesitate to bring this up, but LBJ was also known supposedly for holding actual meetings while he was sitting on the toilet.
That's gross. That's disgusting.
Wait, but how could he reach his knife if he had his pants around his ankles?
Yeah, oh, see? But was he on the phone with everybody, or was he like just sitting in the toilet with the
I've
door
heard
open?
in person. I also, a friend of mine, Bill Oakley, who may be on this call, he sent a picture of LBJ's office the other day that caused me to burst out laughing because it was somebody had taken a picture of, his White House bathroom at the time and just big phone next to the toilet. And it's like, so I'm sure he was definitely taking phone calls as well.
Billy.
He had to drop some mud.
Oh,
all right.
There it is.
No more sound effects. Please.
Sorry, show's over.
Okay,
Go on.
let's move along. Anyway, so having heard that, if you heard that in 1968, whatever it was,
around your bunghole.
Yeah, you would find it hard to believe that the level of decorum in the White House was actually going to go downhill in the future. But
I know.
So next up, this is a segment called Quote-Rama that we do from time to time. This is sort of a grab bag of quotes from many of the top political thinkers of our era. So we're going to hear, these are all just going to sort of be mishmashed together, but we're going to hear Phil Lamar as Barack Obama, Maurice as Donald Trump, Lauren Tom as Sarah Palin, Billy West as Joe Biden, John DiMaggio again as Rudy Giuliani, and there's a couple of other deep thinkers mixed in there here and there as well. You'll hear them as they come along. But again, these are all real, couple of edits to shorten them, nothing added. Starting with Obama's 2016 State of the Union address.
We need to reject any politics that targets people because of race or religion. This isn't a matter of political correctness. It's a matter of understanding what makes us strong.
Look at my African American over here.
Focusing your life solely on making a buck shows a certain poverty of ambition. It's only when you hitch your wagon to something larger than yourself that you realize your true potential.
My whole life I've been greedy. I've grabbed all the money I could get. I'm so greedy. I look very much forward to showing you my financials because they're huge.
Here comes Bill Clinton, 1992.
When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. I didn't inhale.
Barack Obama, 2006.
Oh, look, when I was a kid, I inhaled frequently. That was the point.
Here's Joe Biden introducing Obama at their first campaign rally in 2008.
A man I'm proud to call my friend, a man who will be the next president of the United States, Barack America.
My parents shared not only an improbable love, they shared an abiding faith in the possibilities of this nation. They would give me an African name, Barack, or blessed, believing that in a tolerant America, your name is no barrier to success.
Do you believe Barack Hussein Obama looked like a president last night? I don't.
Many of you know that I got my name Barack from my father, and I got my middle name from somebody who obviously didn't think I'd ever run for president.
He doesn't have a birth certificate, or if he does, there's something on that certificate that's very bad for him. Now, someone told me, and I have no idea if this is bad for him or not, but perhaps it would be that they would, that's where it says religion, it might have been Muslim.
These days, I look in the mirror and I have to admit, I'm not the strapping young Muslim socialist I used to be.
Here's Sarah Palin discussing Paul Revere.
He who warned the British that they weren't going to be taking away our arms by ringing those bells and making sure as he's riding his horse through town to send those warning shots and bells that we were going to be sure and we were going to be free and we were going to be armed.
Here's Ben Carson on Obamacare.
Obamacare is really, I think, the worst thing that has happened in this nation since slavery.
Here's Sarah Palin on Obamacare.
Yeah, we used to hustle over the border for health care we received in Canada. And I think now, isn't that ironic?
Joe Biden on Obamacare.
This is a big fucking deal.
All right, take us home, everybody. Mishmash it up.
Drill, baby, drill. I love the smell of those emissions.
A lot of people who go into prison straight, and when they come out, they're gay.
You know, we used a largely Venezuelan voting machine to counter vote.
We've got to stand with our North Korean allies.
Some folks still don't think I spent enough time with Congress. Why don't you get a drink with Mitch McConnell, they ask. Really? Why don't you get a drink with Mitch McConnell?
I've never seen a thin person drinking a Diet Coke.
They are also building schools for the Afghan children so that there is hope and opportunity in our neighboring country of Afghanistan.
Let's have a trial by combat.
Despite the constant negative press, go Fifi.
Think before you tweet.
Barack Obama, Phil Lamar, words of wisdom
that we should all live by.
Oh my God.
Wow.
A cavalcade of wisdom.
Do you think Sarah Palin spent the entire Trump administration going, what?
Yeah.
What?
I mean, oh my God.
All right, let's break it up with our next celebrity outtake. This I would call the granddaddy of all of these studio recording outtakes. This is from a 1985 segment.
Long distance.
A 1985 segment of Casey Kasem's American Top 40. Let me tell you, all of our cast members can do this perfectly, even Lauren, I'm sure. So we just kind of rotate this when we do this show. But anyway, tonight, the dice landed on John DiMaggio. Rest assured, though, he's exactly as good as everybody else.
I'll give it my best shot, everybody. I won't let you down.
Here we go, Casey.
And now we're up to our long distance dedication. And this one is about kids and pets in a situation that we can all understand, whether we have kids or pets or neither. It's from a man in Cincinnati, Ohio. And here's what he writes. Dear Casey, this may seem to be a strange dedication request, but I am quite sincere and it'll mean a lot if you play it. Recently, there was a death in our family. He was a little dog named Snuggles, but he was most certainly a part of it. Let's start again. Coming out of the record. Play the record, okay? Please. See, when you come out of those up-tempo goddamn numbers, man, it's impossible to make those transitions. And then you got to go into somebody dying. You know, they do this to me all the time. I don't know what the hell they do it for, but God damn it, if we can't come out of a slow record, I don't understand it. Is John on the phone? Okay, I want a goddamn concerted effort to come out of a record that isn't a fucking up-tempo record every time I got to do a goddamn death dedication. Now make it, and I also want to know what happened to the pictures I was supposed to see this week. This is the last goddamn time. I want somebody to use his fucking brain to not come out of a goddamn record that's a up-tempo, and I got to talk about a fucking dog dying. Fucking ponderous, man. It's fucking ponderous.
Johnny DiMaggio, it's Casey Kasem.
It's fucking ponderous, man. I am Casey Kasem.
Hey, let me mention, while we're talking about Casey Kasem, as you may know, Casey Kasem was the original voice of Shaggy on Scooby-Doo, but at some point, Casey Kasem became a vegetarian activist, and he didn't want to do the voice anymore because he didn't like how Shaggy and Scooby were eating those giant plates of hot dogs all the time. This is true. So who replaced Casey Kasem in the part? Well, of course, it was our own Billy West. But the ironic part being that Billy is a vegan too, but he didn't let that stand in the way of a paying gig.
No, he was just like, I'll eat all sorts of imaginary veal chops
as many as you can shove
Why
down my.
does it always have to be meat? I quit. It's like fucking ponderous, man. Like, wow.
Sometimes the tape wasn't actually recorded at the time, but Billy can just recreate it for us now live.
But also Nibbler, the voice of Nibbler, Frank Welker, was the original Freddy and he actually does Freddy, and he's still Freddy, and he also does Scooby.
He's been Freddy for 50 years or something.
Yes.
Yep. Correct?
Yes.
I'm not kidding.
Exactly.
Wow.
And can still hit that pitch.
Yeah.
He's got to wash that ascot, though.
All right.
What are you doing, Martin Lawrence over there?
Yeah.
Hey, here's another, just as we had the double Shatners, we've got a double Kasem's for you. There's also a lesser known Casey Kasem. This is real short. We're just going to put it on as a little addendum here. But I know this is a particular favorite of Maurice. Maurice, maybe you can explain this and then do the little add-on Casey Kasem for us.
This is just from the same, from the same air check that the dead dog thing is, but it's a little earlier, and Casey's just recording station IDs and tags, and which tells the local markets what time his show is on. And this one went like this. Hi, this is Casey Kasem. American Top 40 has moved to a new time. I hope you'll join me this Saturday morning and every Saturday morning at 2.
But every time we all say, like, is it 2? We all go 2. Everybody just chimes in with the 2.
When you're in the studio at the Futurama cast, you cannot say the number 2 or all work will grind to a halt for 5 minutes.
Well, the thing is, Matt Groening made it known that that's his favorite moment in the entire Casey Kasem rant. So now it just becomes, can we crack Matt up by saying 2? And he's sometimes there before any of us. It's great.
All right, let's get serious now.
Where's he going to? 2. It's just any opera. It doesn't even have to be the number 2. It could just be 2.
I know the words
TOTOO TWO doesn't. Who cares?
We brought some lunch too.
2. Yeah, it's just.
All right, see this? Now I have to again start. I have to watch what I'm saying now. I will be oh no, I can see it's coming up right in the second sentence that I've got to say. All right, stand by. This is not even intentional. Going back to politics now, we are about to hit rock bottom of all the political things we do here. This is a phone call that took place this year on January 2. Lauren's joining the party now. So this is the call. This is a truly horrible call. It took place between Donald Trump and Georgia Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, as well as Raffensperger's general counsel Ryan Germany. And this, honestly, I think this is one of the low points in American history, in the sense that where like the physical attack on the Capitol was insane and people died, I don't think it was going to really turn over the election. But this kind of pressure on local officials, had they caved into it, maybe could have overturned the election. So this is really dark material here. So anyway, this call is over. It's an unbearable full hour long, the real call. So it is greatly condensed. But again, as throughout tonight, this preposterous dialogue is not made up. It's just trimmed down. The only thing we have added are some very brief reactions on the other side of the call to break up Trump's ranting. And one thing I would like to point out, in fairness, is that the heroes of this call are 2 Republicans who stood up to just this intense bullying from the president of the United States. So credit to them. It was really just a few uncorruptible people like that in a few states that stood between tyranny and democracy in this election. So I wanted to point that out. One last note, I really do not want to hear this much of Trump's voice anymore if I don't have to. So we're going to try something a little different on this one.
What are you saying?
The best voice.
A few years ago, Billy West made an amazing discovery, which is that anything Trump has ever said or tweeted sounds absolutely perfect in the voice of Zap Brannigan, who is the blowhard space captain that Billy plays on Futurama. And by the way, Brannigan has a very fed up sidekick named Kif Kroker, played by Maurice. So Maurice, that's another reason we had to shift over who's playing Trump in this one. We need you on the other side of the call.
Right.
So we're going to revoice this call, but keep the words as is. So this is going to be Billy West as Trump Brannigan, and Maurice LaMarche as Brad Kiffensperger. And actually, a few of those lines are actually from Ryan Germany, but we'll call him Ryan Kiffany or whatever. They're all going to be in a Kiffy tone. So here we go, the January 2 phone call.
Wait.
Oh yes, visual aid from Billy there.
Hello, everybody. I think it's pretty clear that we won substantially in Georgia. You even see it by rally size, frankly. We'd be getting 25 to 30,000 people a rally, and the competition would get less than 100 people. It never made sense.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, there were no Republican poll watchers. There were no Democrats either. Late in the morning, early in the morning, they went to the table with the black robe and the black shield, and they pulled out the votes. Then it was stuffed with votes.
Okay,
They watched it and certified in slow motion instant replay, if you can believe it. And it was magnified many times over. At the minimum, it was 18,000 ballots, all for Biden. The other thing, dead people. Dead people voted. And I think the number is close to 5,000 people. And the other thing they said, and this may or may not be true, but they're burning their ballots. Yes, they're shredding their ballots. They're removing equipment. They're changing the equipment on the Dominion voting machines, which is a very sad situation.
well, I just listened to what the president just said. President Trump, we don't agree that you have won. I'll go through this point by point. I don't believe you're really questioning the Dominion machines because we did a hand retally, a 100% retally of all the ballots, and came up with virtually the same result. Then we did the recount and we got virtually the same result. So we can probably take that off the table.
What? Look, if you took the numbers I gave you, those are the numbers that are certified. Your absentee ballots sent to vacant addresses, your out-of-state voters, 4,925. And when you add them up, it's many times the 11,779 number. But we only lost the state by that number, 11,000 votes and 779.
Well, Mr. President, the challenge you have is the data you have is wrong. There was a person named Mr. Brainerd who came to these meetings and presented data and said there were dead people, I believe upward of 5,000, but the actual number were two.
But we're so far ahead. You know the internet? The minimum number is 18,000, but they think it's probably about 56,000. I mean, they did it in slow motion replay magnified, right? All right, look, we have a new tape that we're going to release and it's devastating. It can't be disrupted. It can't be disputed. We have a version that you haven't seen, but it's magnified. They put it in 3 times, each ballot, and I don't know why.
It's extremely unfortunate that Rudy Giuliani or his people, they sliced and diced that video and took it out of context. The next day we brought in WSB TV and we let them show the full run of tape. And what you'll see, the events that transpired are nowhere near what.
Where were the poll watchers, Brad? It was late in the evening, early in the morning. Why did they put those votes in 3 times?
Mr. President, we did an audit of that and we proved conclusively that they were not scanned 3 times.
Where was everybody else at that late time in the morning?
Mr. President, we will send you the link from WSB.
I don't care about the link. Look, you have all these different people that voted and they don't live in Georgia anymore. There was a large number. It was in the 20s.
We've been going through all those as well. They're not accurate. Everyone we've been through are people who lived in Georgia, moved to a different state, and then moved back to Georgia legitimately.
How many people do that? They moved out and then they said, the hell with it, I'll move back. What? They missed it so much they wanted to move back in? It's crazy.
They moved back in years ago, sir. This is not like something just before the election. It's not accurate.
All I know is that it's certified. I won this election by hundreds of thousands of votes. You think it's possible that they shredded ballots in Fulton County? Because that's what the rumor is. It's also that Dominion took out machines. That's illegal, right?
Oh, Dominion has not moved any machinery out of Fulton County.
But they've moved the inner parts of the machines and replaced them with other parts?
No,
Are you sure?
I am sure, Mr. President.
What about the shredding of the ballots? Have they been shredding ballots?
They have not been shredded. They've not been shredding ballots, Mr. President. The problem you have with social media is that people can say anything.
You can say anything. This isn't social media. This is Trump media. Social media is big tech. Big tech is on your side, you know. I don't even know why you have a side, because you wouldn't want an accurate election. You should want one. You're a Republican.
We believe we do have an accurate election.
No, you don't have. They're laughing at you behind your back. Ha, ha, ha. And it's more illegal for you because you're not reporting it. That's a criminal offense, and that's a big risk to you and your lawyer.
Oh,
Well, they are shredding ballots, in my opinion, based on what I've heard. And you can't let it happen, and you are letting it happen. I'm notifying that you're letting it happen.
so notified, sir.
Look, I want to find 11,780 votes, which is more than we have because we won the state.
What we're seeing is not at all what you're describing.
They're shredding ballots. You may not even believe it because it's so bad. And what about that batch of military ballots that came in? It was 100% Trump. I mean, 100% Biden. A large group of ballots came in and they just happened to be 100% for Trump, for Biden.
Oh,
Look, I have to find 12,000 votes, okay? And I have them times a lot. Therefore, I won the state. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes.
oh, God.
Give me a break. There were 18,000 ballots, but they used them 3 times. So that's a lot of votes. And they were all to Biden, by the way. And that's the other thing we didn't say. One thing I forgot to say, which is the most important. Every single ballot in the early morning went to Biden. Did you know that?
That's not accurate, Mr. President.
Huh? What is accurate?
The numbers we are showing are accurate.
What's wrong with you? You don't care about anything. Your numbers aren't right, they're wrong. And I know this phone call is going nowhere other than ultimately, I win, okay? Because you guys are wrong.
Oh,
And you would be respected, really respected, if this thing could be straightened out before the election. Now meet tomorrow and work on these numbers. I'm just saying, you know, under new counts, under new views, we won the election. It's very simple. We won the election. So you can get together tomorrow, right?
why?
We just want the truth. There.
Oh.
It's over.
Was that fucking ponderous?
Oh, ponderous, man. Fucking ponderous.
Fucking
Just
ponderous,
wants the
man.
truth.
I could listen to that all day long.
You could listen to it all day long if you go to the original recording of that. I'm telling you, it's almost 1 full hour long.
Oh
I don't know
my
what this is, but maybe like 8 minutes or something. Imagine an hour of that. That's what it is.
It would have
And
to be
you
all about-
can't edit out a page of that thing without cutting out, you know, a treasonous remark. So it's unbelievable. So this is about the limit of what you can take, but man, that is bad stuff. All right. So just to get the taste of that out of our ears, I guess.
By the way, kudos to Billy West for selling both the Zap and Trump thing. Brilliant take on it. And
Yeah,
so-
no, that was.
Well,
So
you know,
well
I
played,
learned how to read finally.
yeah.
All right. One final one to clear the palate. This is going to be Maurice LaMarche. Excuse me. Now, if any of you have seen the movie Ed Wood, you may have seen Vincent D'Onofrio playing Orson Welles on camera, but you may not know that the voice of Orson Welles was done by Maurice, because he is just the best at it. He is the best Orson Welles. He's played Orson Welles in any animated show you can name, basically, at this point, probably.
The Critic, The Simpsons just last week.
Futurama, of course.
Futurama.
His head in Futurama. And Maurice also plays the Brain on Pinky and the Brain, who is
He sounds nothing at all like.
So,
Come, Pinky, back to the lab to clone Orson Welles.
Maurice has this so well polished up that I don't even give him, he doesn't have a transcript, a script, anything. You can just, Maurice, tell us a little about it and then do it and I will
Well,
be
for
quiet.
me, this is the granddaddy of the outtake tapes. This is the first outtake tape anybody gave me, and it was given me by Phil Proctor from the Firesign Theater on New Year's Eve in 1984. And I must have listened to this tape for a year in my car. I just, every time I couldn't believe, that this was Orson Welles in real life. And, I started out thinking, wow, what a jerk. And by the end of that year, I was sort of going, he's right. He's right on every count. So it's him making a frozen peas commercial in England back in the days when they flew you where they wanted you to do the commercial for. And he's in England, and it's for a company that still exists called Findus Frozen Foods. And so this is Orson Welles and two British directors, a creative director and the guy who's actually the engineer, I guess. And anyway, they're directing him, and this is snippets, but this is how it went. We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. Do you really mean that?
Yes, I'd start about a half a second late.
Don't you think you really want to say July over the snow? Isn't that the fun of it?
Well, if you could make it almost when that shot disappears, I think it'll make much.
I think it's so nice that you see a snow-covered field and see every July peas grow there. We know a remote farm in Lincolnshire where Mrs. Buckley lives. Every July, peas grow there. We aren't even in the fields, you see.
Oh, no, we're not.
We're talking about them growing, and she's picked them. I don't understand you then. What must be over for July?
But when we get out of that snowy field.
But I was out. We were onto a can of peas, a big dish of peas when I say July.
You are?
Yes, always. I'm always past that. That's about where I say July.
Second guy chimes in.
Would you emphasize a bit in July? Why, that doesn't make any sense. Sorry, there's no known way of saying an English sentence in which you begin a sentence with in and emphasize it. Get me a jury and show me how you can say in July, and I'll go down on you. Idiotic, if you'll forgive me for my saying so. That's just stupid. In July? Love to know how you emphasize in July. Impossible, meaningless.
I think all they were thinking about was
he isn't thinking.
Also, we have one last one. It was my fault. I said in July. If you could leave every July.
You didn't say it. He said it. Your friend. Every July? No, you don't really mean every July. That's bad copy. It's in July. Of course it's every July. There's too much directing around here. Norway. In the snow with fish fingers in Norway. We know a certain fjord in Norway. Near where the cod gather in great shoals. There, yarns England shit.
How do you know all about shows thing? Because you roll it around very nicely.
You roll it around and I have no more time. You don't know what I'm up against because it's full of things that are only correct because they're grammatical, but they're tough on the ear. You see, this is a very wearying one. It's unpleasant to read. Unrewarding. Because Findus freeze the cod at sea and then add a crumb crisp. Oh, that's tough. Crumb crisp coating. You want take crumb out. Good. Here under protest is beef burgers. We know a little place in the American Far West where Charlie Briggs chops up the finest prairie-fed beef and tastes each. This is a lot of shit, you know that. You want one more?
Well, you missed the first beef actually completely.
What do you mean missed it?
Well, you're emphasizing prairie-fed.
But you can't emphasize beef. That's like his one. He'd emphasize in before July. Come on, fellas, you're losing your heads. Wouldn't direct any living actor like this in Shakespeare. The way you do this, it's impossible.
Orson, you did 6 last year, and by far and away the best. I think I know the reason.
The right reading for this is the one I'm giving. I've spent 20 times more for you people than any other commercial I've ever made. You are such pests. Now, what is it you want in your depths of your ignorance? What is it you want? Whatever it is you want, I can't deliver because I just don't see it. That was absolutely fine. It really was. It isn't worth it. No money is worth this. And up he goes.
Yay! That's where, if we did this live, Maurice LaMarche would literally drop the mic at that point. Towards the end of the show, which this is.
Stage.
Maurice has ruined thousands of dollars worth of microphones at that point in the show. Anyway, thank you very much for coming, everybody. Thank you to the committee for organizing this. Thank you to Field Team 6 again for their critical work. And I will now introduce Futurama writer Patrick Verone, who will direct any questions coming into the chat, if there are any. And I'm sure there are. Patrick, by the way, is the only writer, aside from me, who worked on literally every episode of Futurama. And aside from that, he's also a genuine scholar of presidential history and Supreme Court history and baseball history. So don't try to slip anything by him. It won't work unless it's on any other subject, then it will work fine. So you'll have no idea what you're talking about. Here he is. This is Patrick Verone.
Yay.
Thank you. Thank you, David. I'm coming to you live from the Pacific Palisades in a room where I get really good Wi-Fi and also where I cut my own hair. So I'm looking over, I'm hoping that I'm vamping a little right now so that maybe we can get a few additional questions, because the ones we have now, I have to say, are a little thin, but I'll start with them. I will take them in order. The first is actually a question for Billy, and it's a yes or no question. So hopefully this can be easily answered.
But Billy, really stretch it out till some more questions.
Make this work, this one, Billy. Was that you in Mark Hamill's film, Comic Book, the movie?
Yes.
All right. That's
it.
Answer that one, and I'm no scholar of that movie. The question.
Is there some reason that the tone of that question makes me think there's a reason that someone thinks you might want to say no, even if you were? Is there something? Was there
or it's someone who can't find the credits on their old VHS copy of Comic Book the movie?
Well, whoever they are, they're probably still watching, so I don't want to say anything too negative about them. They did ask the postscript. I saw it years ago when Mark Hamill came to a film festival in Livermore, California, where I live. So now we also know that the questioner lives in Livermore, California.
Patrick, stop doxing the questioner.
18 more questions, we can figure out who they are.
Here's the next question. I know Field Team 6 is the most important, but is there any way that I can also donate or contribute to bring Futurama back?
Is this Jeff
this is really
Bezos? Jeff the question from.
Send me your money.
How much? Just what's the amount?
What about Bezos' ex-wife? She could do it. Why not call on her?
That's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
A person
Jim has it on them.
If you're a person if you're in a position to exert a lot of power and influence over the Disney Corporation, I invite you to do so. You know, if you could take a controlling interest in Disney stock, for example, that would do it. Probably pull the strings. It has to be someone with the power to boss the Disney company around, I guess I would say at this point.
That's more powerful than a mouse.
Well, that's that.
Our next question, anybody can answer this one. What did you think about Fano-Rama? For those of you who don't know what that was, it was a fan-made video production of live action of featuring the Futurama characters, which was, of course, legally distinct from.
Yeah, let me say, first of all, we did not endorse that in any way. I say that because I did go to the set and visit it because it was really cool. Lauren, you went as well, right?
Yes.
You visit the set of that thing?
Right, and my kids. That was amazing.
So I'm not saying I endorse it in any way. I don't. It was horribly illegal, but I loved it, and it was. I mean, that guy.
That sounds like an endorsement.
They built a set. I mean, they built the bridge of the ship. They built the hangar. They built a model of the ship that was like 20 feet long. It was wow. Really. They had those audio animatronic like Dr. Zoidberg heads and the professor prosthetic. It was a full on. I think the guy who was doing their the prosthetic makeup may have had an Oscar or an Oscar nomination. Like they weren't goofing around as far as the production value. So it was very impressive. So yeah, it's touching, right? When people want to be all of your characters to the point that they build a prosthetic of Dr. Zoidberg's head.
Didn't they have Rich Little doing Nixon?
Yes, I believe they did. You're right.
And he said,
right.
Aru.
No.
Yes, he did.
They actually got Rich Little to come and show up and say that.
Yes.
Wow.
It is amazing that Rich
again,
Little
like I think he seemed pretty confident we weren't going to sue because do you remember the name of the producer? Dan
Lanigan.
Dan Lanigan. The internet does.
He actually rented my house. So maybe he's a stalker.
But a rich stalker is fine.
Yeah. No, that's totally fine.
But he had a booth at Comic-Con where he hung up all the suits and stuff to show it, and it was fantastic. So again, but I don't endorse it in any way. Not even.
It was Dan Lanigan. Was or is his name?
Yeah.
All right. The next question, also a yes or no. Is David X. Cohen on Twitter?
No, and someone, believe it or not, someone has masqueraded as me a few times. I don't really do any of the social media stuff. I did try to reclaim a name at one point because someone, in a way that was totally uninteresting, also it'd be like, somebody would be tweeting David X Cohen, like, "What's up, folks?" And it's just like they didn't say anything that made it look like I was sending out.
Hey, that wasn't you.
Are you saying you don't care what's up with the folks?
I honestly, I don't like. If I sent it would have been much more offensive than that, obviously. So. But
you would actually do brilliantly with a. I mean, I know you're busy actually working, writing funny.
I'm waiting to see if the social media catches on before I.
Okay, that's usually great. I would read your Twitter every week.
Oh God!
Wait, David, didn't you go to college with Mark Zuckerberg?
No, I believe he was just after me. I had a lot of those ideas though when I was there. I just wasn't into it. So.
Wasn't into it. I love it.
David, you do have a CB radio handle still.
CB radio, right?
Yeah.
The X-Man.
Come
on back.
All right.
By the way, I have a computer science degree. I'm not a technophobe. I just don't want to deal with it. Basically.
Could you imagine if David X. Cohen actually had a CB radio and was driving around talking to truckers? That'd be the fundiest thing I've ever.
John, you seem like somebody who would do that just to get into the persona.
Yeah, Muff Diver, this is the Sand Shark. You copy? Go ahead, Muff Diver, come back.
This next question is actually a performance question. Someone asks, can Lauren do number 3, Pondering with Maurice?
Oh.
Oh, wow. They're crossing the streams there.
Yeah.
Don't cross the stream.
I love Rainbow Monkeys, and I still love my Kiffy, my Mizmar.
Oh, I miss you so much, Amy. Oh, if only we could somehow find a way to.
Yeah, my heart was all aflutter. I'm actually number 3, not Amy, right now, so you got a fan.
Oh, you're doing the number 3 voice. Okay, well, now I feel like number 2 for saying what I said. Hang on 1 second.
No!
Wow, it's like an improv festival.
Let me do the setup then. Number 3, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I'm pondering it.
I never thought I'd say this, but I actually want Pinky back as my partner. Yes.
Beautifully done. And ladies and gentlemen at home, number 1, don't try this at home. Number 2, that's how show business works. It's that easy. The next question, this is for Phil, I assume. Can we hear this actual Ben Carson quote, please? Putin is a one-horse country, oil and energy.
Putin is a one-horse country, oil and medicine.
See, this is what he says when he's awake.
Wow. How does he see out of those things?
I mean, he does the brain surgery asleep.
Now, Phil, he's a was he a contemporary of yours at your alma mater, or am I? No. Okay. He's much older than you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But please don't ask me about Brett Kavanaugh.
No. Why, I won't ask you about Brett Kavanaugh. The next question. My 8-year-old daughter wants to know. I'm reading this without processing. What happened to the professor's younger brother, Floyd? Wait, does anybody?
Yeah.
Ooh.
What does that
Wait,
mean?
you remember that? It's a Futurama. Oh boy, which episode was that? Hang on. I need to refresh my memory.
He's looking at the internet.
I actually should be identifying the questioner. This came from Max Zaru, whose name is pronounced how, Billy?
Zaru.
Right. Yes.
That's a real deep cut.
It is, yeah.
What happened to Floyd?
Farnsworth's parents showed up, and they were telling them about. They were telling the crew about Floyd's older brother Hubert, because they thought the professor was Floyd. I have to read the script again. Actually,
and he will.
You know, you figure some 8-year-old kid is going to totally stump you about some deep cut character named Floyd Farnsworth.
All the time. Who's been to those trivia nights with me in the past? Again, pre-pandemic. Maurice has, Patrick has. Anybody else? Like we went a few times in the past to this local Futurama trivia night contest, and there would be teams in the audience, and we would watch episodes, and then between episodes they would ask really hard trivia questions about Futurama. And by the way, this was closer to when it was on the air and we actually could remember what we had written. So it'd be like, you know, some of the cast, writers, and animators of Futurama would be there, and we would be a team, and we would lose. We would always lose. So.
Well, because the thing is, you write the episode, you know, once. I mean, you do a couple of edits, you know, these people watched it. It's like, I've seen that episode 12 times. Like,
Yeah.
Really?
Which is good. Which is a good thing. Don't discourage
that.
Come on, Netflix ain't counting out loud, David.
So I'm actually remembering this and not reading up the internet, but I believe they were talking about how his older brother went crazy and ran off, right? And that turned out that the professor was the older.
He went crazy.
Oh, so Hubert was older.
What happened to Floyd? I don't know that we don't know.
Yet to be written.
Yeah, so another reason to get Disney.
So when the other viewer buys Disney, they can assign Patrick to write that episode.
We'll ask the young Zaru child to solve this problem for us. Any chance of another Futurama table reading at San Francisco Sketchfest?
If they do it, yeah, why not? Yeah. Everybody's pretty much up for that. We all usually go up there for the Millionaire's Bacon and then call it a trip. Fucking wrap, done.
They
standing out, hanging out, waiting for a car to come pick us up at the hotel and have 48 people chase us for with
come
trying to sign shit.
Oh, come on.
So, yeah.
Just one.
Yeah, just one. And then Billy's, then Billy, then
by the
Billy.
way, again, just for any actual fans watching, those people are 99% are eBay dealers and not actual fans.
They don't care. But then they get their kid to come up and just be like, "Can you sign that?" You can't be like, "Get out of here."
It's the same hired 8-year-old as the guy who put in the question.
I know.
What they do now to save time is they just hand you a blank piece of photographic paper, you sign it, and then they decide where to print your character.
Pretty much, yeah.
For real? That's a thing.
I guess they're the ill-prepared ones, but yeah, no, for real.
They chase you through the airport.
I'm just finding white glossy, and then they said, "Don't worry, we'll print it in later." Whatever character,
You have to give them credit though, because they know what voiceover actors look like, and they can recognize them from 100 yards away. So.
What a way to build your fortune, though. $22 at a pop. Wow. Call Forbes.
Here's
Joe DiMaggio.
Here's a question for all of the actors from Eric Trueheart. If you had a chance to play one character from your past one more time, who would it be? Why don't we start? Why don't we do that alphabetical routine? Who was first? John.
Oh,
John.
I was first. Who do you fucking think I would want to play again, for crying out loud? Come on, man. Like, but Jesus Christ. What are we gonna say, Dr. Draken? For crying out sake? No, I'm not saying
Answer,
that.
Dr. Draken.
No, the fucking robot. Ding dong.
Man.
Jesus.
Thank you, John, for answering.
You're welcome, Patrick.
Should I cover
Wonderful
my
to
ears
see
in
you.
case somebody wants to not say Futurama? Like, you don't have to say Futurama on our account.
Maurice, who would you like to play again? Or, I guess the question was,
I would like to play Dr. fucking Draken. Are you
now,
kidding?
now here's the tricky part of the question.
I love playing Dr.
72
Draken, by the way.
characters, All 72 characters I played on Futurama. I mean, I would give anything apart from my very life itself, because then I wouldn't be able to be there for the recording sessions, which were the most fun I've ever had in my life. But I would love to do anything from Futurama. Kip, more than newscaster. What will the final chrome crop Percy I ate? Oh, he is about to buy. Yes. Any of them. Bring back Futurama.
I was going to request Hedonism Bot, and I managed to do it in a way that drowned out Hedonism Bot. It was remarkable timing.
It's quite all right, my boy. I'll hire you to dip me bottom repeatedly in the vat of the finest creams and oils.
Well, I'm going to throw you a curve because I'm reading this question and it says a character from your past one more time.
Oh, I know. That's why I refuse to answer the question. It sounds like a death curse to me. I mean, because we get, characters come back, and, especially these days, things come back from the dead. Futurama started that, but now it's a thing. But then this, if you had a chance to play one character from your past one more time. So we're not picked up. It's just, this sounds like a serial killer. Say the line. This will be the last thing you say.
Yeah, there's a TV with static. With your character, then you get sucked into it.
It's like, I don't want to play it just one more time. I want to get picked up for at least 12 episodes.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask?
That's right.
12. Shit.
I said at least.
At least.
At least.
At least.
And they better get with it, because I'm 70 and I can smell that pablum breakfast at the nursing home cooking right now. It's right down the street.
Hooray!
Lauren, do you have anything to add to this, or?
It's just because we're all family, so of course we want to just be together again. So let's make it happen, okay? And we have to hear Dave Herman do Scruffy again. I mean,
Oh my
God.
And
Roberto.
Yeah.
Roberto.
Clams.
That's it.
That's you, all right.
And
We're technically slightly past the end of our time. Can we keep?
yeah, we're over time. I'm scanning ahead to see if there's any questions that I would like to know the answer to.
All right.
Someone wants John to know that you took a photo with their dad at Comic-Con once.
Their drunk dad. And called me Joe. And they died, and their soul left their body, and they've been waiting years to apologize to me. Lindsay, it's okay. Don't worry about it. That's all right. Because you know what's funny? I was totally shit-faced too. It's okay.
So here's to you.
All right.
Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio. Everybody.
All right, Jason, you want to take us out?
We'll wrap it up, Jason. Take us home.
My God. Thank you all so much. This is so good. This is so good.
Thank you.
I didn't think I'd be saying this sentence, but thank you so much for LBJ's bunghole. Tasteful.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Tasteful, very tasteful.
Right there in the bunghole, right there.
Now that'll be fine.
Yeah, yeah. 15 to 20 pounds a month.
That's the weirdest thing ever. I know. Sorry.
What's weird about that?
I'm muting myself. 15, 20 pounds a month. deflection. I'm muting
Easily,
myself.
leave some
I'm
for the
sorry,
enemy to
Jason.
kill. That was
So-
for Max. His wife wanted to hear Alan Alda one more time.
Oh, do you want to do Alan Alda real fast?
I just did.
Okay.
Easily, leave some for the enemy to kill.
Oh my God. Okay. Thank you all so much. Thank you, John DiMaggio, Maurice LaMarche, Phil Lamar, Lauren Tom, Billy West.
Thank you.
This was the best. We can't thank you enough for your willingness to be here.
Vote.
And share this with us. Yeah. And again, yes, vote.
Don't
Yes,
donate.
vote.
And
get
support democracy.
vaccinated.
Get vaxxed and relaxed. And again, thank you to our incredibly supportive host committee, including David X. Cohen, Marjorie David, Elias Davis, Don Foster, and Patrick Barone. And thank you everyone on this call tonight, all our volunteers and organizers and donors and activism curious people. You've been doing this good. You know, I would say we hit the ground running after this election, but we never left the ground. So please, there's so much good to do right now, registering new Democrats in swing states so we can save the Senate, save the House, and win down ballot in 2022. And so please join every week. Go to fieldteam6.org. You can find our phone banks, text banks, postcarding campaigns, social media storms coming up right now, June 5th. We have a mayoral runoff in Fort Worth. And we're trying to get the word out so Deborah Peoples can be elected the first Black mayor of Fort Worth. Yeah, and that's June 5th. That's right around the corner. So come help with that. You're here because you don't just read the news, you make it. So let's get out there, wake some people up, register some swing state Democrats, and save democracy again in 2022. Thank you all so much. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Great time.
Bye, everyone.